Hello, everybody, and welcome back. The first case that we will be discussing, and just because it is something that we discuss often and regularly here at home, will indeed be the Suzanne Morphew case. So, without further ado, let us get right into the case. Suzanne Morphew was reported missing on Mother's Day, 10th of May 2020. Suzanne was 49 years old, mother of two daughters, and married to her husband Barry for 26 years at the time. The basics of the story is that husband Barry left home early on the morning of Mother's Day, Sunday, May the 10th, to go to Broomfield to inspect and get a job site ready for his workers to continue work on Monday. The daughters were away on a camping trip and Suzanne was home alone. According to Barry, he saw his wife sleeping in bed when he left. Later in the day, he was contacted by one of the daughters saying that they had been unable to contact their mother to wish her a happy Mother's Day. It is unclear whether it was Barry or one of the daughters who contacted the neighbors and asked them to go check on Suzanne. However, Barry did speak to the neighbor, Jean Ritter, and asked her to look whether Suzanne's bike was there, and it wasn't. The police were called and the search for Suzanne began. The first thing to be found was indeed Suzanne's bicycle. Listening to the preliminary hearing, Barry Morphew was right. This was the first mistake made in the investigation, one of many huge mistakes, which, in our opinion, borders on either incompetence or a very lackluster investigation. But never mind, let's get into it. The deputy who found the bicycle pulled it out with his bare hands. It is said that he put it back at some point, but it was pulled out again at a later stage. And when we dissect the evidence, it appears as if Barry and a neighbor both touched the bike before being told not to by another investigator or police officer. And this was apparently captured on video. Barry's touch DNA was indeed found on the back of the seat. Concerning, though, is that it now appears to be clear that the bicycle was not cycled to where it was found, as the front wheel was somehow locked, which indicates that it was pushed there. Unidentified DNA was found on the handlebars, yet it came out that Suzanne got new tires fitted days before her disappearance. So the question is, did they get the DNA of the people who touched or worked on the bike to eliminate them? That was not answered in the preliminary hearing. If they hadn't, then this is negligence and the prosecutors are not ready for trial yet. 5 days later, another personal item, as it was called then, was found, and this turned out to be Suzanne's biking helmet. The only possible evidence the prosecution had thus far that Barry could have anything to do with that is that his GPS showed that he stopped somewhere near there and made a U-turn in the vicinity. However, tire tracks taken from the scene does not match his vehicle or any of the vehicles they own. But we'll discuss the evidence given during the preliminary hearing later. For now, let's return to the story. There are videos of Barry searching for Suzanne along with friends and neighbors. At one point, footage shows him falling to the ground, whether out of sadness or exhaustion. I do not know, I'm not sure. It could even have been for dramatic effect for all we know. The point is, we don't know. We were not there, nor do we know the man personally. It could have been an act, or it could have been real. Barry Morphew was criticized for not making public pleas for his wife's return, and finally he did. He did a short, privately filmed video in which he pleaded for her safe return. As expected, you are damned if you do and damned if you don't. Social media had a lot to say about this video. Every move, every facial expression, and every word was analyzed, and most came up with things like him shaking his head no when he meant yes, and classified his emotions as crocodile tears, etc., etc., which it could have been for all we know. But again, we do not know the man or his circumstances. The shaking of his head from side to side could also have been because he felt overwhelmed and could not believe that something like this could have happened in or to his family. As for the so-called crocodile tears, we don't know that. Personally, I found the video and words fairly sincere, taking into account that he is not someone used to being in the limelight or in front of a camera. Then Barry was caught on a camera by Tyson Draper, and their talk went out on social media. Again, a lot was made about it. Perhaps it did give us a better glimpse of Barry's personality. Maybe someone who's living a little with one foot in his own imaginary world, but to me, it did not show someone extremely cold or callous. Yes, the police or FBI can use it to compare what he said in this video to what he said to them in order to determine whether he was truthful or not. But as far as I'm aware, it cannot be used in court, as Barry specifically asked Tyson not to record him, and Tyson said he wasn't. Although Colorado is a one-party state in terms of the recording of conversations, and although it states that the statute does not prevent a news agency or employee thereof from using accepted tools and equipment in the course of reporting or investigating a public or newsworthy event, and that any person may use wiretapping or eavesdropping devices on his own premises, Tyson Draper was not an employee of a news agency, nor was he on his own premises. Clause 3 under the Penalties Act, and this is what you can be fined or taken to court for, and I'm just reading from the middle of the clause, knowingly uses for any purpose or discloses to any person the contents of any such communication or attempts to do so, blah, blah, blah. Thus it is fair to say that although one party in this conversation knew it was being recorded, and the actual recording may not have been illegal, the actual sharing of the recording on social media may have been, and therefore it is highly unlikely that this recording will be or can be used in court. One thing in this conversation and others Barry had with other people, which soon had everyone up in arms, was his suggestion that a mountain lion may have attacked Suzanne. This was, of course, soon knocked out of the ballpark, as there were no drag marks, no blood where her bike was found, and of course, if it was the case, a severely injured or deceased Suzanne would have been found soon, or at least by now. Now, with evidence showing that she did not ride her bicycle to where it was found, but that it was pushed, that theory just sounds even more ridiculous. But does that mean that Barry is a killer? No, it only means that he sees himself as this big game hunter, and that is what was most likely in his head. The next controversy in the case came when one of his employees, Morgan Gentile, spoke out after rumors flared up that she was Barry's lover. She absolutely denied it, but in the course of her Facebook posts and dragging his other employee into it, other things were said, such as that she heard Barry's truck pass her residence in the early hours of the morning, that he summoned her and the other employee to the job site. But when they got there, they found that he did not leave enough or the right equipment for them to complete the job. The biggest revelation that came from this was, however, that the hotel room he hired in Broomfield reeked of chlorine, and immediately social media jumped to the conclusion that Barry used chlorine to destroy all traces of Suzanne's DNA or blood from himself or his tools. However, it came out in the preliminary hearing that 4 months later the room still smelled of chlorine, most likely because it is situated right above the hotel swimming pool. And then I read somewhere that the hotel actually admitted to having an issue with the chlorine distribution during the lockdown period when the pool wasn't used. And then came the big search organized by Suzanne's brother Andy. Again, Barry was criticized for not taking part in the search. However, by the time the search took place, Andy, via channels like Profiling Evil, had already made it clear that he suspected that Barry had something to do with his sister's disappearance. And I would imagine that Barry was either embarrassed or angry or both. Neither Barry nor his daughters attended the prayer service for Suzanne that weekend either. This is not, however, proof of his guilt, as it may be as simple as there being some measure of ill feeling between Barry and Andy, and that Barry did not want himself and his daughters exposed to the media. Anyway, Andy, with the help of Profiling Evil and the community, arranged a wonderful search, and it was sad and unfortunate that nothing solid was found. Throughout the searches and all the drama, I believe the biggest mistakes were made not only by the police and investigators, but by the extended family and their support group, including certain channels on YouTube, etc. You know, we are all human, and I'm yet to come across a person who is 100% perfect, 100% kind. Yet a lot was done to make Suzanne Morphew look and sound like an absolute angel. We heard what an angel she was, what a church-going Christian woman she was, what a wonderful wife, mother, how compassionate, etc., etc. She could indeed have been the nicest of people socially, and even a compassionate person. And in a way, she was, I'm sure. I'm sure because she was also obviously popular, had friends, and was loved by a number of people. But an expectation and picture of Suzanne was painted which was almost unrealistic, and thus the impact of hearing about Suzanne's other side, her affair, her drinking, and possible drug use, came as a bigger shock than it would otherwise have been. So now we'll leave the story here and do part two on the evidence in the preliminary hearing, and we'll dissect a little more and give our opinion on everything. So we hope that you will hop back on here in a day or two to get the rest of our story or our opinion on the story. I hope you enjoyed this so far. Please take good care of yourselves. And until we meet on the next one, bye.